So I haven't done patch 1.1's review yet, but we already got to see patch 1.2's live stream and it was huge. There was so much good news, and I'm not gonna do it all in a breakdown of a singular video. Instead, we're gonna talk about what happened in 1.2 in two parts. So this first part of the video, I'm actually going to focus on the gacha aspects of the game. We're gonna be talking about Fangyi's banner. We'll also be discussing the joint operation banner, the one that had 4 operators on the screen. How does that work? We're gonna discuss that in this video. In the second video, we'll talk about more of the upcoming new content, so the changes to the AIC, and then also the big thing that lots of people are talking about, which is contingency contract. So anyways, it's time to talk about our favorite thing, gacha, everyone. We love gacha, and no, I do not like the gacha at all, and especially not with this game. Before I talk about any of the banners, I want to focus up on the troubles that we have with the gacha of this game right now. It's been going for 2 months. We've seen 5 banners, from the first one being Levitine and all the way to the current one being Rossi. Now, for myself as a content creator, I do make it a point to make sure that I can pull for every single character. This way, I am able to showcase them in videos, I can show off them on stream. And of course, I would be using my own money to pay for these characters. Understandably, we all have different natures to this game. Some of you are Leviathans or whales, you put a lot of money, you care about getting more potential, more copies of a character. Some of you are like dolphins, you've only invested in a monthly card, battle pass, and just a few packs. And some of you, only a monthly card, and for a huge lot of you, you're a free-to-play player. However, I feel that the current point of the game, we do have a little bit of problem with the gacha. And that is, it doesn't feel very nice to pull within this game. So I'm just going to describe this experience of my own account, where I have been spending in Endfield, and I do not like the trajectory of how much I've been spending in this game. So my current total expense across the 5 banners is approximately 200 to 250 USD. And I really don't like this amount that I'm spending for 2 big reasons. Number 1, this amount of money that I spend could be the same amount of money that I've spent on average in Arknights. In a year, by the way, this is the time frame that I'm comparing to. So in 2 months, I've spent 250 USD in Endfield, but that is my 1 year amount in Arknights. And yet at the same time, it feels pretty easy for me to get all the characters that I have right now in AK. I have a complete account, I own everything. But in the case of Endfield, even though I said that I spent 250 USD, I could say that I'm luckier than other people, because I was trying to scrap and top up for pools in order to hit the required amount of pools to get my character. Now the good thing here is I didn't hit 120 on the last 3 banners, being for Yvonne, Tang Tang, and for Rossi. Instead, I was hovering about 80-90 pools, and I got them. Now imagine that I got unlucky in all 3 banners, and I needed to invest more money to top up all the way to 120. That would incur way more damages, and there's a chance that I would be spending close to 500 USD in a year. So that kind of far exceeds the amount that I'm already spending at AK, and that doesn't make me feel very good. Now, some of you will say, hey, it's a 3D game versus a 2D game, and therefore it only makes sense that you should pay more money, right? Development costs are higher. But it just doesn't feel good because of the second reason. And it's the reason that a lot of people who don't play gacha games look at them and call gacha games predatory, or like just games that don't really make sense for your spending. Because with this 250 USD, I could be buying 10 to 20 good Steam titles on a winter sale. But yet I'm putting this money on PNGs, on characters that I can only just get to play in the game. But yet at the same time, the current game state of Endfield makes it such that, do I really need to pull for these characters? There's no actual real content that requires you to own these characters. It's more so for your own personal enjoyment. It's just because you like the characters. But do you really have to put all that much money into it? So the fact that I spent this in 2 months, it goes to say that if I just continue on this same trend for the entirety of this year, by the end of this year, I might be slated to be paying 2,000 USD. And that's a lot of money. That could be like, for some of you, that's considered your 1 month entirety of a salary. And it's not very wise of a spending, I would say. So it doesn't feel good that for me right now as a player, I would consider myself like a dolphin, someone who puts money when I see that I need to. But if this is my current vibe, what about the people who only pay by the monthly card, right? It's really difficult for you to feel like you can top up any pools to get to the 120 guarantee. And even worse for a free-to-play player. The current state of the game that I see is that you're kind of only getting, I would say, without any spending, 30 to 40 pools per 17 days. Because in the past 5 banners, all of the banners are 17 days long, and you only get that amount of pools. But this goes to say that we need to do something about the game. When it comes to the pool economy, when it comes to the feelings of the game, if they don't make changes to the gacha, it will start feeling shittier and shittier for all categories of players alike. But we're now going to talk about the very first banner, that is Fangyi's banner, because I think that introduced certain things that actually alleviated some of those issues. So, they didn't exactly improve on the pool economy per se, but they did introduce that in the upcoming patch, everyone's going to celebrate it with a monthly card, which I think is pretty crazy. This tends to be an anniversary gift, and the fact that they give it now goes to say what kind of anniversary gifts will we get when it comes to January of next year. But this means that all of you will be getting 12 pools in the entirety of the month, a good top up to the fact that Fangyi's banner is not 17 days long. So, I'm just going to be watching this together with you guys. Let's hear it from Mr. Lowlight himself.
接下来，我们为管理员带来新版本的寻访分析。版本更新后将会首先开启春雷动万物生的特许寻访，6星干员庄方仪将会在寻访中获得概率提升。在本期特许寻访累计寻访60次时，将额外获取寻访情报书奖励。这次的寻访情报书奖励会在下次特许寻访开启后自动转化为对应的专有寻访凭证10张。该特许寻访将总共持续35天，且春晓时版本仅有这一位新增干员的特许寻访，管理员们可以更加从容地规划寻访节奏了。
Okay, so the key thing that we're looking at here is the fine print below. This Chartered Heat-Hunting banner will last for a total of 35 days. I think this was the biggest shocker that everybody received. I was just jaw-dropped for the whole way. I was trying to process, did they really just do that? Because, well, as mentioned, we had 5 banners before this that were all just 17 days, and this one is times 2 of it. So, the question at hand is this actually a good change or not? I was making a prediction when I watched the live stream that I think certain content creators out there are going to spin this into saying Endfield is failing, they're not releasing as much characters, therefore Endfield EOS and all that kind of nonsense. But here is my counter take, and I think this is a lot more valid of a say. If this is a trend that Endfield can choose to keep up with, I think it is one of the best things that I've ever seen done to a 3D gacha space. Simply because this is the longest banner duration time that's given to a 3D character. That's one, right? Like it's 1 month long. If people were to actually take a look at the banner schedule of Arknights itself, actually, Arknights only releases 1 new 6-star every month. This is the current pace that they have done in every single year of that game. And yet, revenues are good. The best part of all is that no matter what type of player you are, whether you're a free-to-play, pay-to-play, massive pay-to-play player, you will always win because you have more time to save for your pools in order to get the next character. The great thing over here is that because this is times 2 of the usual banner duration, instead of it being that 30 to 40 pools that I said, I actually sort of estimate, even without any of the patches appearing, that by the end of the 35 days, if you start off this banner with complete 0 pools because you spent everything into Rossi, there is a fantastic chance that by the end of the 35 days, you will be clocking 80 pools on your daily, weekly, all the random missions, all the random maintenance, all the random side quests that they do, Umbral Monument, things like that. You will get 80 pools plus 10 that is, no, sorry, not 10, but 12 from the monthly card. So in a sense, I do think that a lot of you are not exactly going to this ultra dry. You will still have certain pools in your account, and therefore I kind of foresee that you will be clocking in at 100. If you have a monthly card, if you have a monthly battle pass, then the way I also see it is you will definitely be guaranteeing Fangyi by the end of this. And I think that is an awesome thing that they've allowed. But of course, with the introduction of a 35-day banner, it has made it extremely confusing for everybody. Because the question now is this going to stay the same for the future of AKE banners? Or is this just a one-time off situation because they genuinely didn't feel like they want to release another character? So I don't know what is the approach. We started the game with 3 banners back to back as a patch 1.0, then 1.1 introduced 2 banners back to back, and then this patch drops with a nuclear only 1 banner. So what's going to happen in 1.3, 1.4, 1.5? We don't know. Maybe they'll go back to the 17 days thing. So for what this is, feel that this is a great thing, because at the very least, it doesn't exactly address on the problems of the pool economy, right? The idea that you need to get more pools in this game. But the pool economy problem really comes with the fact that the banner durations are so short and they are coming in back to back to back, which makes it very draining for people. If Endfield chooses to do this because they're experimenting and figuring out what's comfortable for players, I already think if they can keep this consistently the way for the future months, it is revolutionary for the 3D gacha space. Because, like I said, free-to-play players can feel comfortable, right? Now you don't have to skip 2 banners in order to get a character on the 3rd or the 4th. Now you can actually just perhaps only skip 1 banner, right? Because you skip this 35 days, you can pull into the next 35, you skip the next 35, you can pull into the next 35. Again, you're free to play. You are not expected to get everything. Unless you're lucky, then good for you. But that's just the way it is. And then if you're a pay-to-play player, now you don't have to feel like you have to buy the pool packs. You know, those are more optional. You can actually feel like you can survive better with just the monthly card alone. So I hope that this is something that you'll do from here on. We will only be able to watch and find out. All the old banner systems that they've done, like the urgent hit hunting at 30 pools, the hit hunting dossier where they carry 10 pools later on, they're all still in the game. Oh, and there's also one really good part about this banner lasting for 35 days, and that is the weapon. Because Fangyi's weapon is lasting for crazy long. So it's not only going to last for this entirety of the 35 days, but additionally with the next 2 banners. So if the next 2 banners are also 35, holy crap, it's going to be up there for 3 months. You will have a lot of time to be able to save up to get that signature weapon pools. There's a lot of people who kind of criticize and mock this game and say that the Arsenal tickets and the weapon banners are really unfun and whatnot. But I can only say that actually the weapon banner of this game is something that's kind of keeping me there, because it's so much easier to get the signature weapon, I feel, in this game as compared to the other games. At least this is coming from my experience as someone who has once played HSR, where I can't even be bothered to get the light cone. So that's something that I appreciate. At least now they're giving you more time. So let's hope that this is something that can go on next time, because if that happens, we can end up discussing about pool economy a bit less. It still needs improvements, don't get me wrong, because we're not going to get a monthly card in the next patch, I don't think, and just how good are they going to be giving pools? We'll only find out. By the way, I am not keeping my hopes up that they will definitely make every banner 35. My gut feel says it will go back to 17 for whatever reason. But if they can actually surprise me and go 35 back again, that's pretty good. I'll be deadly impressed. And also, Hyperglyph, you should release more 4 and 5 stars. I think they know that lots of people are saying that they want it. It makes the pool a lot more interesting. At least it feels like you're not only pulling for one character, but you have a nice little side quest in order for you to get. Whatsoever that it is, let's bring you an intermission to talk about the brand new operators that they tease to everybody over here. So we do not know the names of everyone except the fact that the middle character is Mifu, because you saw her from the story. We have a Sui proxy, the supposed 13th Sui sibling. For those of you at AK, you know what I mean. I know you're surprised by the number 13. What's the details of that? We will find out when she actually becomes the law drop in the game. And then we are also introduced to a brand new vampire character on the right. So what is the banner release order? We're not very certain yet. I'm assuming that it'll go in order of the way they describe them, meaning to say Mifu will come first, the vampire second, and then the Sui proxy third. I think that's what they're going to try to do. Again, is it going to be 17 days? Is it going to be 35 days? I don't know. We will slowly watch and find out what will happen. I'm very excited for these characters. They look beautiful. Their sprites are awesome. I saw everyone creaming over it. There's people drawing fan arts of these characters. And the funny thing is, Pixiv artists, Twitter artists, they're like drawing the pictures of the 2 characters on the side, but they cannot actually put a hashtag to their name because they don't know what their name is yet. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in the community. But enjoy it while it lasts. I look forward to getting these characters. Alright, let's close off this video with the big hype banner. Some people call it a bait banner, but I don't think so. I think this banner is genuinely really good. So this was a banner that I suggested for Endfield to have because Arknights is very known to have super interesting fun banners that shakes up the way that you pull for characters. And I was expecting Endfield to try to do this, but not this soon in the game. We're only on the 3rd month of this game, and we have this familiar concept called Joint Operation. Now, they don't call it Joint Operation in this game, understandably, because different game, we don't have operation stuff going on, but they call it Fest of Brilliance for this one. So, there are 4 characters that you see over here. It has the usual idea where a 5-star operator is guaranteed in 10 hit hunting attempts, and then a 6-star operator is guaranteed within 80. Okay, your usual pity pool and stuff. It features Programishnik, Gilberta, Levitine, and Ardelia. And the way it works is that there are no other 6 stars that you can pull for. So this means that when you obtain a 6-star pull, there is a 1/4 chance for you to obtain each of these characters. Now the thing that taints this banner a little is the fact that Ardelia is sitting in the banner, because everybody obtains Ardelia for free. So the best outcome for lots of players is if they don't own the other 3 characters. And I imagine that wouldn't be the case. A lot of you started the game by already pulling for Levitine, you probably got Programishnik as a selected ticket or off banner, maybe you're only missing Gilberta. But if you've been pretty disciplined, you're telling yourself, I'm gonna mad horde and skip, and then afterwards you have 3 characters missing, this banner is just insanely good compared to when the characters were first released. So let's go through the rules together. There are still the urgent hit hunting recruitment, so the one that it doesn't affect the pity, just a random 10 free pull for you to get at 30 pulls. At 60 pulls, there's no such thing as hit hunting dossier, because you just can't get hit hunting dossiers, right? There's no banner to carry forward to. Instead, they will give you basic hit hunting permits. So the blue standard ticket, you are able to use them on the basic hunting and then clock it up a little bit more. So pretty good feature, I would say. But the craziest part is the pointer on 120 hit hunting attempts. So when you do it, they will give you a destination permit. This is very different from the standard banners because you're not obtaining the character itself. It's not saying that on the 120th spawn 6-star. When you do the 120, there's a chance that you still don't get a 6-star pull and they just give you this permit as a reward. What I mean to say is your pity doesn't reset. So if you actually pull a 6-star at 60, 70, 80 pulls, whatever that number is, it will still continue to clock up beyond 120. The funny thing is this is what people have been asking for a change when it comes to the standard banner pulls, the big seasonal ones, but they're doing it on this one, where your pity is unaffected, which is pretty amazing. Now, I cannot confirm with you if what I'm saying is true, but reading this fine print seems to imply so. So, anyways, when you get this permit, you have a free choice. You can just choose whether you want Levitine, Gilberta, Ardelia, or Programishnik. So, this is the reason why I say, if someone doesn't have any of the 3 characters here, they are the biggest winners for this banner. Because what can very likely happen is you pull, you get your first 6-star, maybe you got Gilberta. You go all the way to 120, there's a chance that you're very close to another pity. So you might want to invest that amount of pulls to do another pity pull, see what's the next 6-star. Could you get maybe a Gilberta and Ardelia that you already own? Yeah, maybe you would, and that's kind of fine. At least you got another 6-star, it still tops up on your arsenal tickets, which is good for weapon pulls. That's one thing. But the important stuff is you got the permit. So imagine you got lucky, and you pulled to the second pity, you got Levitine. So now you know what to do with your ticket, because you can use it on the final character that you're missing, that is Programishnik. Of course, that's the best case outcome that I've just named, but you can imagine the scenarios that I'm talking about here. That is, it's pretty good for you to possibly obtain 2 new characters in a go, and especially the first 2 starting crazy characters that is Levitine and Gilberta. So this is an awesome first start when it comes to the systems that they use to rerun banners. Now, I cannot assure that this is what's going to happen in the future of these type of banners, but if it does return again, I can foresee that the next season will have more interesting of a lineup. It's very likely that the next lineup will be very cryo team, so I'm expecting people like Yvonne, Tang Tang, Last Ride, and then sort of a random 4th. Like the random 4th could be perhaps Ember. If they are daring, they'll do Rossi, or just one of the other characters like Li Feng for whatever reason, she's in the cryo team, right? That could be the next type of this banner appearing. And if that were the case, it would be an even bigger steal than this banner, and even bigger steal than the standard banners. The great thing about this is that it incentivizes more people to feel okay about skipping banners, because good systems like this can be great for people to enjoy next time. So you don't have to feel as bad anymore about, oh, I'm going to skip this banner, when will the next character rerun? Like, it's already surprising that we're already seeing a Levitine and Gilberta rerun just within 2 months of this game. So I feel pretty good about this, and I appreciate that Hypergriff is already thinking about how to let people have a better time pulling experience-wise. So at 240 hit hunting attempts, you will also receive a token supply. So this is the potential token, but unlike the standard banner where you only get it for that specific character, again, you have a choice. You can choose between Levitine's token, Gilberta, Ardelia's, or Programishnik. So, simply insane, basically. I wonder how often they'll do this banner. I imagine that it will not happen in patch 1.3, will it happen in 1.4 and 1.5? Who knows? So, just really, really good stuff. I overall feel that the changes that they have done in terms of the gacha, making things a lot more exciting and interesting, introducing this long banner duration, plus also a very unique way of rerunning rather than just rerunning the standard character alone, these are all good stuff. So I still do wonder if they will make changes pool economy wise, but at least this patch, I definitely feel less of that pressure. I do wonder if in the case of this joint operation, what will they do with the weapon banners? Because they have stated that Gilberta's weapon and Levitine's weapon will rerun during this duration. And also just take note, the banner that I've just shown, that is only going to last for 1 week. So it's pretty short. You will be basically sinking all your pools pretty fast, and also their weapons will only last for 1 week. It is a curiosity of people to wonder if their pools that they've done before will carry into this banner. So for example, if you've already done 40-50 pulls on Levitine's weapon, will the rerun track that you've already done that and then not reset any PT? The chances are it will probably reset, but if they don't, big! We love Hypergrave, like that will be crazy news. Again, I don't keep my hopes up on that. So wait and find out when it occurs. Otherwise, yeah, awesome time. It made me very happy to watch this stream. I'm so happy to be able to share this with you guys. Let me know your thoughts. I banged on my camera down in the comment below, and then see you in the next video. Bye bye.